This episode is brought to you by Elevate OS, the only all-in-one community operating system. Elevate OS transforms property management, combining resident engagement, reservations, rent payments, maintenance, and concierge services into a single super app. It also uniquely integrates access control, intercoms, package lockers, and thermostats, eliminating app fatigue and redefining modern apartment living. Visit elevateos.com/MMN for a free demo and see how they can help you level up your operations. Welcome to episode 2317. Now, I haven't opened Multifamily Collective, which used to be Apartment Hacker, which before that was in Brewer Group. I haven't opened like that in probably 1,000 episodes. I used to open with the number of the episode that we did. But so I'm actually recording right now. This is episode 2318, not 17. I have 2317 videos posted on YouTube. Now, I don't say that to impress you, but I say that to impress upon you the lesson for today's Multifamily Collective, and that is this. You have to stick to it. You have to find your stride. Now, I'm under no illusion I've become an expert at creating video content or podcast content for the world. I'm still a work in progress. I'll always be a work in progress right up until the day I stop doing this, which is probably the day that I potentially pass out doing an episode. But that aside, I read a story about the gentleman who created This American Life. I think that's what it's called. I have the story right here in front of me. Why don't I just refer to it? So his name is Ira Glass. He created this show called This American Life. And he was talking to some students, and one of the students asked him this question: how do you know what you like? And how do you know that that is the work you're doing? And Ira said, look, I was not always good at this. In fact, he goes on to say, I asked one of my assistants one time, or my assistant came to me and said, hey, are there some early inning recordings that you did that we could go back and harvest and create some sort of repurpose the content and make it germane for the day, right? Today, or whatever day this might have been for him. So the assistant goes back and he comes back sometime later and he says, wow, there is no indication. There is absolutely zero hint that you would have been good at this. There's nothing in the archives that we can use or develop or repurpose. And so we're gonna trash that idea. And then Ira said to the student, it's like, yeah, you know, he was right. In the early innings, I didn't have this talent, and I didn't know this was the work that I was going to do, but I stuck to it. And at some point I found a stride, and now we have this great podcast. So my encouragement to you, here, me, 2,318 episodes into the Multifamily Collective, formerly known as Apartment Hacker, formerly known as the Brewer Group. I actually think I called it something else. Oh, at one point it was Mike Brewer on Stuff and Things. I think that's where it all started, Mike Brewer on Stuff and Things. But fast forward to today, I'm under no illusion, again, that I have found my stride in podcasting, found my stride in creating video content on a near daily basis. But I continue to work at it. I continue to like it. I continue to try to figure out ways to make it more interesting. In the beginning, the sole aim of creating this podcast in the first place was my attempt at getting comfortable in front of a camera so that I could be comfortable rather in front of an audience. I knew that if I wanted to be a leader in any facet of business in the community or otherwise, I needed to be comfortable standing in front of people and communicating effectively. And my sense was that I needed to get some reps in. The way that I could get some reps in a sort of a low risk way was to get in front of a camera and just start recording myself, and then putting that out into the world in an attempt to get some feedback, right? Whether it was good or bad or ugly, it didn't matter. I would get feedback, and then I could incorporate the feedback into what I did on a daily basis, into the content that I created. And over time, I like to believe that I'm better at it today than I was in episode 1. I oftentimes go back and look at episode 1 and I think, wow, that's pretty terrible. And if I go way, way back, I'm not including these episodes in because I'm not released them. But if I go back to 2006, I think it was 2005, 2000. Oh, it was 2005 because the first video I made, the first video I made in 2005 was for an internal use. And I was talking about coffee, believe it or not, at the time. And it was terrible. I remember we had to do, who knows, we did 40 takes and the editor stitched the thing together, and it ultimately became this video that we shared internal to our organization at a leadership conference. But in and after the fact, he sent me this sort of bloopers tape, and he did it under the premise that, hey, you need to watch this and you need to use the lessons from this thing and make yourself better. So maybe one day I'll post that out there because it was really awful. But if I go way back to then and I do a compare and contrast from that moment in time to today, it's a far different offering. I'm far more confident in the delivery. I do a lot more preparation, a lot more homework. And I try to deliver in a way that is at least compelling enough for people to listen and potentially act on it. So anyway, all that being said, stick with it. If you're in the podcasting arena, if you're in a content creation arena, reps are where it's at. The only way you get better is do the reps. Show up every single day, do the rep, put it out into the world, get the feedback, incorporate that into your offering, do it again, do it again, do it again. Take care. We'll talk to you again soon.